Most creatives make the same 3 mistakes when they start a collaboration. None are dramatic, but all of them quietly destroy collaborations. If you can prevent these early on, you can avoid months of friction, awkward conversations, and resentments from boiling over. Let's fix them. Hi, I'm Kiff, the friendly legal eagle behind the artist JD. In this video, I'm going to share these 3 mistakes and a simple copy and paste sentence that you can use to fix each one. These fixes are small and fast, but they make a big difference. So what's the first mistake? The first mistake is unclear ownership. In the last video, we talked about how unstated assumptions are the crux of most collaboration disagreements. And assuming about how copyright ownership will work is mistake number 1. Because each of you are making assumptions about not only how you can use it during the collaboration, but how you can sell, repurpose, license, or use that final output after the collaboration ends. A couple years ago, a creative came to me upset because her collaboration partner was continuing to use the thing they created in her own business. It turns out that it was a simple misunderstanding of this collaboration partner was planning on compensating the creative who was upset, but they had never discussed about how it was going to be used, what the process was necessary in order to continue to use it, and if they needed to get permission before or after, and how they were compensating. They both had different assumptions about how this was allowed to be used afterwards. So here's our simple fix to avoid that problem. Each collaborator retains copyright to their contribution. Any commercial use of the combined work requires written permission of both collaborators. Now, if you want to predetermine how the profits of that is going to be split, then you can at this point. But that can also be agreed upon when you give written permission, because maybe it's going to be different from use to use. So that's mistake number 1. Not spelling out how ownership is going to work, not only during the collaboration, but after the collaboration. Another common hiccup is assuming you'll always agree on how to handle things. Part of the reason you're collaborating is because you each bring certain skills and talents to the collaboration. So you need to trust your collaborator to have the final say when decisions are clearly in her wheelhouse. This comes up a lot when I'm creating contracts before collaborations. I want to know who the ultimate decision maker is for different things. I give them checklist of, I want you to decide who's responsible for each of these things, because we want someone to have ultimate ownership over the final decisions, especially if there's 2 of you, because then it's 1 vote one way and 1 vote the other way. And so you need to identify who is going to be that ultimate decision owner when it comes to things like production, when it comes to things like design, when it comes to things like marketing, when it comes to things like the visuals that we're going to use. Who is going to be the last decision maker? They're going to listen to the input of the other person. They're going to make the tweaks, but ultimately that's their wheelhouse, and they're going to be the one that's ultimately responsible for making that decision. This is incredibly important, again, if there are only 2 of you collaborating, because if you put it to a vote, it's going to be a 50-50 vote. And so you need to trust your collaborator to make decisions when they're in their wheelhouse, and for them to know that you trust them in that way. So here's your simple sentence to avoid that mistake. Jane will have final decisions when it comes to production, design, and creative. Tiffany will have final decisions when it comes to things like the business plan, the marketing, and the strategy. What are our wheelhouses? Put us in those buckets. If you watch the last series that I did on client contracts, you'll know that I think open-ended feedback windows kill momentum. Timelines aren't just for one side. They help keep projects moving forward and everyone excited and engaged. Projects stall out when timelines or feedback windows are vague. This comes up all the time in collaborations. You might be doing this as a side project from your regular businesses. Things get busy and you don't have the time to commit. And so our simple feedback here is just like it is with our client contracts. We're going to give those windows and say that approval is given if they don't have time to give feedback in that time. So feedback is due for all deliverables within 5 business days. If no feedback is received, it will be considered approved. So that means you're not held off on moving forward on the collaboration because they're swamped and they don't have time to give feedback. That 5 days might not work for every collaboration. You might have to give more time. It might not work for every piece in the collaboration. Maybe it's okay to do 5 days when it's initial sketches and we're gonna try to just pick a direction. But then when it comes down to the final nitty gritty, we maybe need 2 weeks or whatever is gonna feel fair and doable for the two of you. When someone comes to me and they're starting off a collaboration, and maybe they've had a bad experience in the past and they want to have these conversations beforehand, the fear often is, won't my collaborator think I'm trying to make things too formal? Won't they feel like I'm trying to get the upper hand? Won't they feel like I'm trying to stymie all creativity and put us in this box? The answer is no. Your collaborator is going to be grateful that you had the courage to start the conversation. They have these same fears and worries. Most of them have done a collaboration that's gone wrong in the past, and they might not have the courage to stand up and do it. And so I want you to listen to a potential script you can use and say, how would I feel if my collaborator said this to me? Based on previous collaborations, I've found that we keep things moving forward if someone has final sign off on designs. Would you be comfortable with me having that final sign off? Now hit pause, and I want you to repeat that to yourself. And when you say it, how does it feel in your body to you? Do you feel calm and confident? It's totally normal to have a few nerves, but the more you practice saying it, the more confident you'll get. I promise you that this simple question won't push them over the edge. And if it does, it's probably a good thing because you're going to see that red flag now. You're going to be grateful that you learned that this wasn't probably a good fit for a collaboration rather than discovering this midway through the collaboration. If you want a place to role play these exchanges with other creatives and get input, that type of support exists inside the Artist Courtyard. Comment ownership, decision, or approvals to let me know which mistake has cropped up the most for you. Then watch the next video where we build a minimal collaboration agreement that you can use today.